Imagine this. Two nations once treading lightly are now staring down the barrel of a geopolitical standoff. China has just fired a diplomatic warning shot at the Philippines, and the world is watching closely. Welcome back to GeoFrontline, where we decode the world's power plays. Today, we unpack why China is protesting against the Philippines, what role Taiwan plays in this dispute, and why this marks a dramatic shift in the balance of power in Asia. Let's dive in. Tensions in the Indo-Pacific aren't new, but this latest development reveals something deeper. China feels cornered, and it's not just about territory. It's about control, influence, and the fear of a growing resistance. On July 18th, China lodged an official protest against the Philippines. The reason? Manila's growing engagement with Taiwan and its assertive maritime actions in the South China Sea. For Beijing, that's a red line, and the Philippines just crossed it. So what exactly triggered this protest? First, let's talk about Taiwan. In recent months, the Philippines has taken subtle but unmistakable steps towards stronger unofficial ties with Taipei. These include increased Coast Guard cooperation, private defense dialogues, and even supportive language in regional forums. All of this sends a loud message to Beijing. Taiwan isn't as isolated as China wants it to be. From Beijing's perspective, these moves violate the One China policy, the very foundation of its foreign diplomacy. China believes Taiwan is a breakaway province and expects countries to avoid official relations with it. So when a neighbor like the Philippines starts signaling warmth toward Taipei, alarms go off in Jiangnan. Now let's bring in the second flashpoint, the South China Sea. For years, China has built artificial islands, militarized reefs, and harassed ships in what it claims as its nine-dash line, a maritime claim rejected by international law. The Philippines, backed by a 2016 arbitration ruling, has consistently pushed back. But recently, things escalated. Filipino resupply missions to its troops on 2nd Thomas Shoal faced dangerous Chinese maneuvers, water cannons, collision tactics, intimidation. Yet Manila didn't back down. Instead, it increased patrols, enhanced joint drills with the US and Japan, and doubled down on asserting its maritime rights. China's protest is a diplomatic way of saying, back off. But here's the twist. It's not working. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Philippines has shifted sharply from the China-friendly approach of his predecessor. Marcos has rekindled military ties with the United States, opened new bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement (EDCA), and welcomed American surveillance flights from Philippine soil. Beijing sees this as encirclement, and it's nervous. So, is this really just about Taiwan and maritime disputes? Not quite. This protest signals a broader strategic fear in Beijing, that countries like the Philippines, once hesitant, are now choosing to confront Chinese pressure head-on, and not alone. The recent trilateral summit between the US, Japan, and the Philippines in Washington was a turning point. New defense initiatives, real-time intelligence sharing, and maritime domain awareness tools are already being deployed. And here's where Taiwan becomes the glue. In the event of a Taiwan contingency, say a blockade or invasion attempt, China worries that the Philippines might allow US forces to launch support operations from its territory. That could shift the military equation dramatically. Control of Luzon and nearby waters becomes critical in any Taiwan conflict scenario. And Manila knows this, but China's protest may have backfired. Instead of intimidating Manila, it's reinforcing Philippine determination. Public sentiment in the Philippines is turning increasingly anti-China, fueled by viral videos of maritime aggression and reports of Filipino fishermen being blocked in their own waters. Meanwhile, Taiwanese officials have welcomed the Philippines' pragmatic cooperation, praising Manila's courage in standing up for international law and regional security. Though formal diplomatic ties remain off the table, the two sides are building a quiet partnership, one that may prove far more resilient than Beijing anticipated. So, where is this headed? we are likely witnessing the early stages of a de facto coalition in East Asia. One not formalized like NATO, but driven by a shared sense of urgency. The Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and even Australia are increasingly coordinating their responses to Chinese assertiveness. China, on the other hand, is juggling multiple fronts: Taiwan, the South China Sea, India, and domestic economic instability. Its room to maneuver is shrinking, and every protest it files, every ship it sends, seems to push its neighbors closer together. Now the world is asking, will the Philippines go further and sign a security pact with Taiwan? Will Manila allow U.S. troops to operate directly in defense of Taiwan? These questions may seem hypothetical, but in today's Indo-Pacific, nothing stays hypothetical for long. Let's not forget, the South China Sea isn't just a regional issue. Over $3 trillion worth of trade passes through these waters each year. It's the maritime artery of the global economy. What happens here affects supply chains, energy flows, and even internet infrastructure. Tensions continue to rise, and there's little doubt they will. The next flashpoint may not come with a warning. A blocked fishing boat, a downed drone, an intercepted patrol. These seemingly small incidents can spiral, especially when multiple militaries operate in close proximity. In conclusion, China's protest to the Philippines isn't just another note in the world of diplomatic tit-for-tat. It's a sign that Beijing feels strategically vulnerable, and it underscores how much the geopolitical map is shifting. The Philippines, once viewed as a swing state in Asia, is quickly becoming a cornerstone of regional resistance to Chinese dominance. And Taiwan is no longer standing alone. Thanks for watching GeoFrontline. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with those who want to understand the future of Asia's security landscape. New videos coming every week. Until next time, stay informed, stay strategic.